Okay, we are going to try and do some side lying legs here. Now, sometimes this is totally fine for people who's got some back stuff going on, but it really does start to challenge your central strength. So if you're still having a lot of issues going on, lifting your leg could actually be a bit painful. All right, so if you start to feel any of the pain or anything while you're doing any of these exercises, but especially now, just don't, and just go back to breathing. And then you'll get back to there, but it might take a lot longer than you wish it would. Okay, now let's move that out of the way. Perfect. And now Shannon's gonna lie on her side and hand under the ear. We're gonna have the head, shoulders, and hips in one long line. Again, if you have broader shoulders, you may want a pillow under your head to support you so you're in neutral. We are gonna lift our waist up, just like we did before in the beginning, and then you're gonna pull your belly to your back and your back to your belly. You're gonna take a big inhale, and then as you exhale, belly to the back to the belly, and then lift the leg, and then inhale, lower down. Perfect. Exhale, lift the leg and keep that waist up and lower down. So yes, you are getting a leg workout. Keep going, Shannon. Exhale. 3. But what you're doing is stabilizing your pelvis against the lift of the leg. Exhale. 4. And what I see happen with injuries a lot of times, exhale. 5 is if it's not from some sort of posture thing, but it's from actually an activity. 6, the person went through and did something with their arms and their legs that their center wasn't strong enough for. 7, so we're really working on stabilizing the spine. 8, against the lift of the leg. And sometimes if we have long legs. 9, that you need a lot of central strength to be able to support the weight of the limb. 10. Nice. Let's go the other side. So it may not be burning a lot in your leg, but what you're starting to do is stabilize the pelvis. It may also be burning a lot in the leg, depending on how much strength you have there. Okay, so lift your underneath waist, reach the head, shoulders, and hips in line. Good. Big inhale, and then exhale, lift the leg and lower down. Is this okay on your back? Excellent. And again, exhale. 2. Inhale down. Exhale. 3. So again, just remembering, exhale prior to movement to stabilize the back. 4. Inhale. Big breath out. Big breath in. Big breath out. 6. Big breath in. Big breath out. 7. Big breath in. And 8. And in. And 9. And in. Last time. 10. Very good. And Shannon has survived. Come up side. And we're going to go over to the other side. And now we're going to go front and back. So this one's a bit more challenging because you got to keep your leg up the whole time. If it doesn't work for you, just watch Shannon do it and try it another day. All right. So let's keep our waist up. Deep breath and then lift the leg. Okay, inhale. Now as you exhale, you're going to press back. Flex your foot and feel like you're pushing through your heel. Keep going as much as you can. You're going to feel the pull and hopefully a little stretch in the front of your thigh, yeah? And then inhale, just pull it forward. And let's do 10 of these. Exhale, pull it back. Now if it's too much for you, do 5 and then put the leg down, yeah? And bring it in. Shannon's going to do 10 though. 3, and she's going to like it. Inhale. And 4, belly, 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 belly. Good job. Bring it in. And 5. Bring it in. And 6. Bring it in. And 7. Bring it in. Big breath out. Push through the heel. 8. Bring Good. And make sure you're in parallel while you're doing this. 9. That leg may want to start going to turn out a little bit, but you got to tell it, stay straight forward. 10. Good job. Bring that leg in and rest. Still doing okay? All right, other side. And one thing when you're moving around, especially when you've got back issues, you always want to roll on your side and then help push yourself up. And don't do any jerking movements or swing your legs around like you're doing can-can legs. That is not going to help. All right, get your waist up, deep breath, and then pick up that left leg. Good. Inhale. Now exhale. Press it back. Good. And let's bend this just a little. Oh, I'm sure that feels good. And then bring it back forward, keeping our waist up the whole time. And then exhale. Press it back. Okay, on this side? Good. And then bring it forward. And 3. Bring it forward. And exhale. 4. Bring it forward. And 5. And forward. And 6. Yeah. Very good alignment, Shannon. Big breath out. 7. And forward. And 8. And forward. 2 more. 9. And forward. And 10. Good. Lower that leg down. All right. Come up side with grace and control, and we're going to flip and do some clams, everybody's favorite. So what's very important for this one is we don't get our hips moving around like we're doing some Tahitian movements. Your heels are going to come, I call it, this is hook lying. Your heels are in line with your sits bones, your waist is up, your abs are in, and you're going to imagine you have a dagger and we plunge it right through your hip socket. So you don't want to move your hip backwards or forwards. Keep it nice and still. Big breath. And as you exhale, you're just going to turn out, keep your feet pressing together and open the knee, and then bring it back down. And again, exhale, press and open the knee and bring it down. And again, 3. And she's doing a very good job of keeping her hips stable. So make sure as you open the knee, this is 4, that your hip doesn't pull up to the sky. And down. And 5. Are you starting to feel a little work in your hips? Oh, yes, she says. Slow and painful, kids. 6. And down. 7. And down. 8. Inhale down. Big breath out. 9. And down. Big breath out. 10. And down. Good job. All right, carefully come on up. And we get to do the other side. Good. Heels, tush, shoulders and head in one long line. Pressing the feet together. Waist is lifted, belly to the back, back to the belly. Inhale and exhale. Just open that knee and bring it back. And again, 2, remembering that hip stays nice and still. Very good job. 3. And 4. And 5. Halfway home. Bring it down. 6. And down. 7. Excellent job at keeping your waist up. 8. She's also doing a beautiful job of keeping her shoulders down. Check yourself out at home. 9. And down. Last time, please. 10. Oh, yes. Well, we have made it to stretch time. I know everyone's excited. All right, so we are going to sit tall and go ahead and sit cross-legged. Our goal for this first stretch is to keep your pelvis in neutral as much as you can, and it'll stretch out the sides of your hips a little bit. So nice and tall, deep inhale. Now as you exhale, feel like you really stick that tush out and hinge forward. And you can put your hands down in front of you, and Shannon is very, very flexible, so she can go further than the average bear. But for most of us, just putting your hands down and stretching here is going to be plenty, so you don't have to go very far. And we're going to stay here for about 30 seconds, just breathing gently, and the whole time you're sticking your tail out. If you start doing this and it hurts your back, you can first come up a little bit and see if you can go to where you don't feel any issues. And if it is too much, then just come out of it and don't do this stretch right now. It may be too much. Everybody's at a different place at a different time, so see how you are. All right, now we're going to shift over sideways. So walk your hands, and you're going to go towards the foot that's in front. And what that's going to do for you, again, you're trying to keep neutral spine the best you can, is get a little more stretch over here. Yes, and we feel it fabulously. Good. So this is stretching out our lateral rotators. If you're having trouble with this, another thing that you can do is lift yourself up and sit on a pillow, or you can sit on your balance cushion. Or you can even do it seated in a chair. That's another way to do it, if things are so tight that this is just too much for you. Good. And when you're ready, Miss Shannon, come back center and then carefully walk yourself up and change legs. Did that feel fabulous finally after all of this? Yes? She's like, I've been waiting for over an hour to do this. All right, nice and tall. And now you're going to stick your butt out and then walk those hands forward a little bit. So the whole time you do want to keep your abs supporting you. You definitely don't want to drop into this without abdominal support. That is not going to be helpful. And again, just breathe gently while you're here. You can check and make sure your shoulders are soft and down. Let the hips open, but keep your back working. Isn't that fabulous? All right, when we're ready, you're going to walk your hands over towards the front foot, just a little bit if this is okay for you. And as you go, keep sticking your tail out back to increase that stretch in here. Just keep breathing. Excellent. When you're ready, come back center and then come on up. Okay. Now what I want to do is one more little hamstring stretch. So what happens a lot of times when we sit at the desk a lot and we slouch, our pelvis pulls up underneath us, and then we start gripping in our hamstrings and our glutes, and our hamstrings get very, very, very tight. The other thing that happens if we just never stretch our hamstrings, they're tight, and so when we sit down, it pulls our legs up underneath us or our pelvis up underneath us, and then it forces us to put the stretch in our low back, and that's what causes the chronic issues. So what we're going to do is take our pillow, Miss Shannon. I didn't tell her we were doing this, so surprise. We're going to take our pillow and sit on it and just have your, you can sit this way and then face that way. Yep, hop up. Everybody's going to need a different amount of pillow, all right? So again, she's very, very, very flexible. You may need a couple pillows. You can also go get your balance cushion to sit on. And just separate your legs and then flex your feet. And what you're going to do is try and sit as tall as you can and connect our rib cage back. So we already feel a little stretch. Yes, this may be enough for you. If you can, keep sticking your butt out and then slightly hinge forward. Put your hands either on your legs or on the ground until you feel those hamstrings stretch in your back. Doing this seated rather than doing a hamstring stretch lying down is going to put a little more work on your lumbar multifidi to help fire them up. You just want to make sure that you do not tuck under, because then what you're doing is you're getting the stretch in your back rather than the stretch in your hamstrings. And we want to focus on stretching the backs of the legs so that when you are seated, the hamstring is long enough for you to sit up properly to get those lumbar multifidi to fire. Yeah. And we can feel a little stretch, yes? So you're doing double whammy, strengthening our low back and our abs, stretching our hamstrings that may be too tight. Good. And then walk on up. And we've made it. Well, thank you so much for joining Shannon and I today. If you have questions, check us out online at www.upsidedownpilates.com. Feel free to check us out on our Facebook page. So it's facebook.com/upsidedown-dance and Pilates. And we have a YouTube channel with all of our episodes all the way back from the beginning. So youtube.com/upsidedown-pilates. We have an Instagram account. You can email us if you have questions. And we are always taking wonderful new clients in the studio. So if you need help personally, give us a buzz and we'll get you scheduled. All right. Have a fabulous rest of your day. Aloha.